Mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2. Here we do what we do. Somebody echoing.
Yo.
Mic check 3 4.
Everybody sounds fantastic.
Somebody
nice
echoing.
and loud, nice and clear.
Wonderful.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Somebody's missing. Always missing.
Collins.
No. I'm talking about for the Facebook post I'm about to make.
Oh.
Somebody's echoing.
I'll be right back. I gotta run and grab some out the car. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Yo, can y'all hear me? Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. I'll be right back.
It's my video showing up. I don't see myself.
Are you in the show? Is the question. Is that what
That's
you
what
see?
it says. It says it is.
You good to go?
I don't see myself. I can check my shot.
Somebody's echoing.
I don't know. Is it me? Can you hear me?
Not me this time. It might be you.
Yo, can y'all hear me?
We can hear you, Shaheed. That just means somebody has one of the other broadcasts open. Probably Wes.
It ain't
It's
me.
Shaheed, I think.
Mix.
Yeah, it was Shaheed. He got YouTube playing.
No worries.
I don't got you. Nothing for it.
You got two restream windows open? I guess that would be
I'll go out and come back.
Shan. Yeah, I like the red dot. Let me flip my camera. I think I'm supposed to flip it. I can't tell if it's the left hand. Yeah. This flip. Right hand. Flip left hand. I always never
No,
know
you
what-
good?
Yeah, whoever that was is not echoing no more. So look left, you go right, look right, and go left.
What up, She? What up, Lotus?
2, 1, let's go. And you already know what it is. Watch me whip and watch me nay. Whip, watch me nay.
What we doing?
Mr. Longmire, I see you back in the original location. Where the mic at?
No, the mic. I think I might have retired the mic. I'm gonna have to get something different. I still ain't got the headphones I said I was gonna get, but I should be able to grab them by next week, I suppose. I guess I should just order some on Amazon as opposed to wait until I can go to damn Best Buy or something.
What you trying to get? The AirPods?
Yeah, just something with noise cancellation, some earpods or something like that.
Hey man, I gotta connect. Just let me know, bro.
What kind of phone do you use, Robert?
This is the 13.
Oh, you got an iPhone? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of AirPods. I mean, it's a lot of earbuds out there that work. You got Beats. Beats and AirPods. People are saying that they rival each other. They're kind of the same.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Then you got Bose. You got all these shit, bruh. You want to just keep it simple, super simple. Get AirPods. You ain't gotta worry about shit, man.
The biggest thing I worry about that is losing them, man. That's my biggest fear. Little things I have trouble keeping track of where my wallet is.
I got something for that.
Damn.
He probably got to get that old school pimping piece that go all the way around your ear and then come out with the boom mic and shit. Get you some hard bottoms, some slack shorts, and some dress socks.
Gonna be missing.
You be good to go.
Yep.
Shaheed got good lighting tonight. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I ran all the way. Ran all the way. All right.
Shaheed changed his light bulbs, y'all.
Robert, this what you need. Right here.
Put it on the big screen.
This what you
I
need
lose
right
my
here.
keys too, though, bro. I don't even carry that many keys no more. I used to carry a bunch, but I only carry a couple now, and I always
That's terrible.
But I
That's terrible, my friend.
I try to keep the keys near me, but I lose them all the time. I got one right here.
I just want to let y'all know that I got a new T-shirt, and I got the one that got the red. There you go, the red dot at the end. right
Yeah,
there.
he got the signature joint.
Y'all
He
ain't
got the
got that.
signature.
Y'all ain't got that. I'm up on this. Actually,
I want the white
I'm gonna
one. I
do.
want the white one with the black character. The
I'm
fro.
working on that right now. Um, so, anyways, welcome everybody to Ask a Black Man Anything. Hopefully, you are having an amazing Thursday night. Happy Friday, Junior. I have a general tendency to say Happy Friday, Junior, because guess what? For those who are in the work land, you are literally right at the end of the work week of your work week, and that's where we are right now. So, hopefully, you had an amazing week, and we have a great show for you guys. Um, hopefully, your week was productive. Hopefully, you made some choices that will launch you into your future. And I appreciate the fact that you are here joining us tonight. Along with myself is some wonderful gentlemen, Mr. Wes Stewart out of LA, Mr. Shannon Rawls himself, Mr. Robert Longmire, and Mr. Shahid Muhammad. I'm gonna let them gentlemen, let these great gentlemen actually say hello to you all before I do, and let you know where they're from. Mr. Rawls, it's on you.
But I'm trying to get Daryl in here. Daryl's
Ah,
having some issues.
I'll
Oh,
go
I
ahead
think
and
he's
go.
pulling up now.
I gotta jump
Oh yeah,
off here
Daryl's in here now.
real quick.
Good
Oh, go
evening,
ahead.
everybody. Appreciate you guys pulling up to another show, another episode of Ask a Black Man Anything. My name is Mr. Shannon Rawls. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I'm currently living in Los Angeles, California. Um, and I'm twice married, twice divorced, friends with my exes, and I teach men how to be better men by way of teaching men how to be a better men. I end up teaching women how to be better women. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for asking questions. I'll be happy to answer them. We do so every Thursday evening, and I want to pass it to my man Shahid.
What's going on, everybody? Shahid Muhammad, favorite black cowboy out of Los Angeles, California. I'm excited today, man. Just picked up a new horse today. Closed the deal out on her, so I'm excited, man. Tuesday was bad for me because dude backed out of the deal, but that phone rang today and we was able to crunch them numbers and get that deal done. So I'm excited.
Is it tough
Robert,
to get a horse? Is it tough to get a horse, or is it just like buying a car?
uh, yes and no. It's just the market for horses is crazy right now. So people,
gas
jack,
prices going up, so the market's gonna be
yeah, people jacking the price up for everything. So I got her at a real good deal because I know how to make a horse. Like I don't need a horse ready made for me. I know how to make my own horse. So uh,
What do
I mean,
horses go for? Like a,
depends. Like
a thousand?
oh no, no, you really in the 10 to 15 range, depending on what type of breed it is, what you're looking for. But like I said, I could get it on the low end because I could put in all the work. I could make it myself. Like it's like buying the frame to a car and like you put the motor in and all the other stuff. So
Oh, all right, all right.
Robert Longmire out of Bakersfield, California. Entrepreneur, investor. Happy to be here, man. I'm glad to be up on stage again, fellas. Congratulations on the horse there, Shaheed. Mr. DB. How you just switched the frames, man? You switched the glasses on us?
Listen, man, I'm coming in hot. I just got off the streets, ran straight in the house, man. Pulled up. So trying to keep trying to keep the glare down. Daryl Bailey from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm just glad to be here tonight, waiting for this exciting topic to be touched and massaged and caressed and all them good words. I'm not even gonna say it, Chris. Back at you, bruh.
you smoking your meat tonight.
No, sir. No, sir. Fresh off the streets.
Fresh off, hey, you out in these hot streets. Wes Stewart, you with us? Nope. Okay. Good deal. So I'll bring them in a little bit later, but I just wanted to say, man, incredible Thursday. Man,
Jerron is here.
Jerron, you with us? I kind of figured. Give him a sec. So incredible Thursday for me. Chris Davis in Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Buffalo, New York, the greatest city in the state of New York. I don't care what nobody say. I'm fresh off the new Ask a Black Man signature tee. You know what I mean? Just so y'all know, I don't know if y'all could actually tell, but the shirt I had last week was a 2X. This shirt is an XL. So you feel me? It probably ain't nothing moving forward but progress. So you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And Shan don't make his shirt
Congratulations.
small for no
Congratulations.
reason. So that other shirt was feeling a little big, and I'm feeling myself a little bit. So man, I am proud to say that I'm still moving forward, because whether you know it or not, there was a point where my breast stank, and I didn't know it because I didn't go to the dentist. I didn't take care of myself. I weighed 300 and probably 30 or 40 pounds or around there. And now I'm down to like 260, 265, and my waist is smaller. I have more energy. I drink more water, stuff like that. So, first of all, thanks to my executive producer, Shan, for putting me on to BCAA powder and staying on us, because part of my progress would not have been as good as it's been without me drinking water. And that literally has given me enough energy to get up and do everything that I want to do on a regular daily basis. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you very much. I'm humbled and honored that I have met all of you gentlemen, but I definitely want to give you that your accolades there. Last but not least, man, I'm the author of 2 great books. One book is called The Edge of Greatness. It is my personal autobiography. Some people say, well, why are you writing an autobiography and you've only lived 42 years? I'm going on to 43. I wrote an autobiography 2 years ago because I've been through so much stuff to tell you about where I've come from that you can probably learn from the 15 times that I've been fired. I also designed a board game, and somebody told me to write a book, and I put it in the book, and so therefore autobiography. The second book has been my love. I have learned a lot about dating in these last 5 years that I've been divorced. So unlike Shannon being twice married, twice divorced, I've been married one time and divorced one time. And my hope, and while it's unfortunate that he was married, married twice and divorced twice, my hope is that I only get married a second time and I stay married. Some days I don't feel like it. Some days I don't want to get married because it's too beautiful out here in these Atlanta streets to kind of feel like I want to be locked down. But at the same time, there's nothing more beautiful than the institution of marriage. And I'm sure that all of these fellas that are with us have a very keen sense of what it takes to produce a marriage or to be in a long-term relationship, because we've all been in long-term relationships. Shannon has been divorced. Daryl has been divorced. I've been married and divorced. So we've had success, right? So it's not the divorce that we hang our hat on. It's the fact that we hang our hats on that we've had success in some ways. Jerron has been in a long-term relationship. Shahid has been in a long-term relationship. Wes has been in long-term relationships. And one thing that we all have in common is that we talked about last week, and I'll say what we have in common, and I'll kind of pivot here just a minute to kind of bring in the topic for the week. One thing we talked about last week, which was a question that was posed, I think the guy name was Ulysses out of Florida. He said, is it more expensive to be single or to be in a relationship or married? And there's a common theme around, married people that, if you living over here and you got $7,000 and you got $3,000 of expenses, and she's living over here and she got $6,000 and $2,500 of expenses, you would think putting that $13,000 together and $5,500 of expenses, you would have, $6,000 or $7,000, but that's not always the truth. And one thing that men do is that we protect and provide as masculine men, but more importantly, we know that we have more than just the money part that we bring to the table. Welcome, Wes Stewart. Why is Wes? I'm telling you, we're going to have to get Wes off of cricket. look, that little glow right there is perfect. Look like you're in the middle of a text. But one thing I realize is that all men have something in common. And before I jump into what all men have in common, outside of being providers, outside of having income, is that we have a little bit more of that, and that's what tonight's show is going to be about. I saw this video earlier this week, and salute to everybody that is here. I want to welcome everybody to the show. If you're in the comments, comment what city you're watching from. Let us know if you're out in LA, if you're in Texas, and you're in Virginia, you're in New York. Let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to see it. And thank you for being here again tonight. Before I jump to that, Wes, give us your introduction, good sir.
Man, I didn't. Wow, I thought I was still in backstage all that time. My internet's terrible as usual. But anyway, I'm here, gentlemen. It's great to be here. Wes Stewart, aka Artistic IQ on all social media. Los Angeles, California. Let's go.
Cool. So I was watching, looking at the internet, and I saw this video earlier, and I posed it to the fellas, man. Well, why would a woman say that, the only thing that men bring to the table is money or, BDE, right? But I don't think any of the guys in this panel only have money. And so I wanted to pose to the fellas, what else do men bring to the table outside of finances? And before I jump to that, I want to jump to the video, and I want you all to watch what I got an opportunity to see, so you can give your comments, whether in the chat, or if you want to come live. You can do two things. If you want to come live, you can go right there and click on call.aabma.live, and it actually is in the comments. You'll be able to see that link. You click that link and you can join our show. Once we've given our commentary, we'll invite you to the show. We welcome you, lady or gentleman, to come up to the show and give us feedback and join the conversation. Or if you have a question that you want to ask, you can go right there and you can go questions@aabma.live, and you can email us tonight or any other time, and you can email us a question. So with that, I want to jump to the video, and then we'll be right back.
I'm going to tell you the problem when it comes to fucking with girls who have money and where men go wrong. We know that men are supposed to be providers and protectors. It is extremely important to a man's ego to know that he's able to take care of his woman, which is fine until you come across a woman who's independent. Now here's the real question. Are you able to still provide without providing financially? Most men are so lazy to offer you anything else that they'd rather just pay your bills. Most women are in relationships because they need the man financially. So when that's off the table, what am I depending on you for? Because it's not financial, so can you support me to be a better woman? Can you learn to cook for me? Can you clean? Can you be there for me emotionally? And then they say you're too masculine for them. When the problem is you don't have anything valuable to bring to the table other than your money.
That was rough for me, and because
that's a popular sentiment amongst women these days, though. I'm hearing it a lot, more and more.
Yeah, and I think it's a very rough sentiment. Like, why would you think that, that's all that he has? Like, isn't there more to a man than just his money? And then she said some women use men for money. Like, that's not foreign. That's been happening. But first, before we jump into that, fellas, what did you think of the video? What are your thoughts? And I'll reserve mine for a moment later.
I mean,
let me run. Let's run that video one more time so we can listen to it and go. Everybody listen, I'm gonna just listen to it. I'm gonna pause it point by point. Here we go.
I'm going to tell you the problem when it comes to fucking with girls who have money and where men go wrong.
And when you do that,
men are supposed to be.
Time
Go ahead, Wes.
echoing, so somebody had their mic off, I think.
That's Chris. That's echoing.
Just saying, as you play.
Go ahead.
Last time it was echoing. Okay, yeah, because I couldn't even.
Okay, all right. Here we go.
I'm going to tell you the problem when it comes to fucking with girls who have money.
Hold on.
and where men go wrong. We know that men are supposed to be providers and protectors. It is extremely important to a man's ego to know that. I'm going to tell you the problem when it comes to fucking with girls who have money and where men go wrong.
So I'm gonna tell you what's the problem with fucking with girls who have money and where men go wrong. Women who have jobs, women who make their own paychecks, do not need any bills paid, do not need any mortgages paid. She got her own insurance. She all her bill. She covers all her own shit, and her bank account is nice. All right.
We know that men are supposed to be
Chris, it's you. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at it. So it's you. Put yourself on mute.
providers and protectors. It is extremely important to a man's ego to know that he's able to take care of his woman.
All right. I don't think we have any beef there.
Where men go wrong. We know that men are supposed to be providers and protectors. It is extremely important to a man's ego to know that he's able to take care of his woman, which is fine until you come across a woman who's independent.
Which is fine until we run into you independent women.
Question: are you able to still provide without providing financially? Most men are so lazy to offer you anything else that they rather just pay your bills.
Can you provide without providing financially? That's the question. That's question number one that she asked.
Most women are in relationships because they need the man financially. So when that's off the table, what am I depending on you for? Because it's not financial. So can you support me to be a better woman? Can you learn to cook for me? Can you clean? Can you be?
Can you support me to be a better woman? Can you cook for me? And can you? She wants her man to clean for her. She wants her man to cook for her. And she wants her man to make her better. Okay.
There for me emotionally, and then they say you're too masculine for them. When the problem is you don't have anything valuable to bring to the table other than your money.
You know, ironically, when I saw that, I actually never listened to the part where she said, "Can you cook for me and clean for me?"
I mean, women need to eat too, and women need a clean place too.
I agree, but here's the thing that I said a couple of weeks ago, or this week, last week on Instagram. Women that are looking for, asking where are all the men, because they have everything. You know, they want them to cook and clean and provide for them emotionally, and support them. I said, you're the man that you're looking for, sis. You've become the masculine. You've taken the role of the masculine. That's what I said. I mean,
here's a question. Let's lead it. Let's do it this way. Instead of us telling the world what men provide, because I can run down a litany of things.
But that's what I want to. That's what I want to dig into.
But here, what does it mean to support a woman emotionally? Define that. I know it sounds good, and there's a whole lot of word salad out there, and people just mixing and throwing up all the kind of stuff and things that sound good, and they sound really philosophical and very earthly and shit, and they sound, like resting in my femininity. I think that's a really silly phrase, but it sounds good. Resting in my femininity, as if it's someplace you need to cuddle up in and become. So, what does it mean? But when you think about it, because when you think about the words and you think about the definitions and the etymology of the words, and you start defining things, you say is some of the stuff that people are using nonsensical, but it's set because it sounds good. People are using it. The whole manifestation. I mean, we can go on and on, but let's be specific. So let's start with this one, Chris, and then we can jump into why. Really the title of the room. What are men good for outside of finances? What does it mean to support a woman emotionally? What does that mean exactly? It really be nice if some women came up and asked and explained that to us, because all I can do is speculate, and you don't want me to speculate. So maybe some of our Jedis can explain it to me.
So I'll start.
So my
off
internet
saying
connection
that
is
one
terrible.
Of
All right. Well, go ahead, Chris.
I'll start off by saying that one of the things that the Bible says is to live with your wife in an understanding way. And what I took that to mean is understand that she's emotional, right? She may not know why she's doing what she's doing, right? She may not even understand what emotions are driving her, and she's just emotional, right? That it's just a wide variety of emotions all over the place at any given time, right? So what does it mean to support a woman emotionally? Is sometimes it means to listen when you want to give an answer, right? For me, this is what it means, right? To listen to her instead of giving her the solution or giving her the option of, hey, babe, do you need me to solve it or do you just need me to listen? I think that's a way that I personally will support a woman in a relationship or in a courting and the marriage situation. Another thing that I think it means to me is allowing her the space to figure out her emotions without me having to be lording over it in a manly way. Like, no, you don't feel that way. This is how you feel. Just let her talk, let her share, express how she feels, and then I just, and again, I just listen. So that's what I think it means to me to be a support, not kind of carry her, but when she needs a shoulder to lean on, I'm there to listen. That's what it means to me.
So, if I may I?
Oh yeah.
Come on, Wes.
Yeah. Come on, Ob.
Listen. This is easy. So it starts with understanding that this woman is a whole human being, goals, perspective, purpose, all these that we have within ourselves. So the first piece of emotionally supporting her, first understand that part of her, understanding that she is equal. We're not the same. We are equally valuable in the relationship as well as in society. We can equally contribute in society. So that's the foundation. If she doesn't have that respect, that equity, so to speak, in the relationship, if she isn't given that equity, then everything else, then there is no supporting her emotionally or otherwise. So that's the first thing. I also think, and a lot of this I learned, a lot of this I failed at. First of all, let me be clear and transparent. But also, what emotional support looks like is shared. So here's the thing: it's not just simply about letting her tell you what her deal is. It's not just simply about solving her problems. But here's that we forget about as men. It's also us being vulnerable. Like, support her emotionally is a two-way street, and sometimes to support, you have to give a little bit of yourself, which is difficult for us as men. We got to grow into that. And the reason I say that is because, sometimes you go through something and you feel like you're all alone. And then if the person next to you, if your husband is always strong and always on point and is never letting down his guard and is never showing that vulnerability, then, there's a tendency for even us as people, even as guys, like when we're younger or whatever the case is, sometimes we feel that no one else is going through what we're going through. And then the moment that we understand that someone else is just as vulnerable as us, going through whatever we're going through, it's like the building block for us to go to the next place, for us to be like, okay, I'm not crazy, I'm not weak, I'm not whatever. So now let me pull it together. Not the only one dealing with this. So take that and put that in the construct of a relationship between a man and a woman. I think the same thing applies. I think the more vulnerable we allow ourselves to be to her, the more she feels supported in her moments of vulnerability. Because to add, listen, those are all the perfect things to ask, to whether do you want me to listen, do you want me to solve? Those are, but that's elementary. The other place though is that if we never show that part of ourselves or never lets her into that place, then she'll feel maybe protected, but feeling protected and feeling emotionally supported is two completely different things. So she'll feel protected, but she'll still feel alone. She'll still feel by herself. She'll still feel that she's maybe weak or whatever in those moments. And so anyway, that's one. I just wanted to share that piece because that's a piece that I know in these conversations that get skipped over, is us actually showing her the way by being vulnerable. If that makes any sense.
Of course, it makes
I'm
sense to
writing it
me.
all down.
For me, man, a lot of this stuff has become so cliche. It's just like, I don't know. But
I feel like Shaheed is my spirit animal. Go
when
ahead,
I
Shaheed.
when I hear stuff like this, and I've never really run into women that ask like, "What do you bring to the table?" But when I do meet women, not the ones I'm dealing with, but they typically ask these type of things, I put it into perspective like this. I say, if we're at home and somebody comes into our home and I take a bullet for you, I lose my life, I put my life on the line for you, what dollar amount? How do you equate that in dollars?
How much is that worth?
Yeah, how much is that worth? Because it's some things that men bring to the table may never be exercised. That man may never have to kill somebody for you. That man may never have to put his life on the line for you, but he will. How do you equate that in dollars? How do you equate that in, I don't know, emotion and romance and et cetera, et cetera? How do you equate that? What do you have that you can bring to the table in comparison to that? And I'm not saying they don't, because women can bring kids and children and all that, but what are you going to do that will equate to like that? That would be my question.
So, with Shan's thing,
Luke.
supporting emotionally, like Wes was saying, it's understanding. A lot of it has to do with being willing to listen and understand, being willing to consider the other person's feelings, thoughts, and emotions. Um,
Wait,
in the way of
because I'm writing this down. Wait. So be willing to consider thoughts. Okay. All right. I got you. Keep going.
thoughts, feelings, emotions, concepts, be willing to dive
Thoughts.
into it and have conversation about
Thoughts.
it. Lifting
Mhm.
burdens. That's a way that oftentimes helps women emotionally. If they don't have burdens that are pressed on them, things that are um, stressing them out, a lot of times they can better deal with their emotions in those times. And then security, like Shaheed was saying, that's one of the big things, right? Everybody, we all know what that is. But then we got trust. What a man should bring to the table is trust. You should be able to trust his actions. You should be able to trust his actions. And I just recently learned the difference between trust and reliability. Trust transforms into reliability. So you have that trust factor, which is initially what you get at first, but that reliability is something that you can lean on. You ain't even got to test it. You know that reliability is there. That reliability allows for emotions to, or for security. It's like it works hand in hand with the woman feeling secure with her man. Works hand in hand with the woman knowing that her emotions are safe with that individual, with the man. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and land it there. But to start some fire, Shaheed, just for fun, women oftentimes put their life on the line just like we do. They call it
Get them.
childbirth. It's not as dangerous as it
In,
is
Get them.
now. It's not as
no, no,
dangerous as it
no,
was
no, no.
then.
Intentionally, Rob.
It,
Intentionally.
having a kid is usually pretty intentional. It's a choice you
Get
make, and
them.
you
Yes,
know
but
now
not
you got 9 months of
intentionally.
it hanging over your head that I might
Here,
not
here
make
we
it through.
go, man.
But I'll
Get them,
just say,
Luke.
You know I'm gonna go get the soundbite. You know I'm gonna go get the goddamn Star Wars soundbite for these niggas. Shaheed.
DB.
What you got for us, Thanos?
DB, you on
It's
mute
fine.
or we can't hear you.
No, he fell off. He lost his feed.
Man, listen, I'll say this. The younger me, I ain't have a clue and really didn't care. To be honest with you, I brought me to the table. I was selfish, self-centered, unbalanced. It took a failed marriage and subsequently learning about the man that I am to understand one thing. The moment you make or place every woman in the same category, you have failed. Every woman is different. So when you get asked that question, what do you bring to the table? You have to observe the woman that you're with. And that comes from listening. But if you're going to present yourself, the first thing I bring to the table is stability, trustworthiness, faithfulness, unwavering, and I have the ability to listen without interrupting you. Sometimes it comes off as me being nonchalant, and I don't care. But to be honest with you, we can't really effectively communicate, or I can't effectively communicate who I am to any woman until I'm able to understand her, hear her out, and then allow myself to be the man that I need to be for her, because I'm not going to treat her like every single woman that I've ever treated. The moment you start having the blueprint or think you have the blueprint, then you're going to lose a lot of women. But I'm not going to dive into a whole bunch of superlatives or be, throwing a whole bunch of hyperbole out there. I'm just going to say this. When you understand the man that you are, you hear a lot of people say you are the table, but you do set the standard for the table, man. And that's where I'm going to land, and I'll toss the mic back.
It's in your capable hands, Shannon Ross. What say you?
No, I'm taking notes.
Here we go.
No, it ain't no here we go. Y'all, why do y'all put me in this box like I'm this evil villain? Like I'm evil Darth Vader. No, I listen, I get it. I hear what everybody's saying, but hyperbole is a word that was used, right? I like the word hyperbole. It's a really good word. It's where it's exaggerated statements, right? Where you say stuff that's not meant to be taken word for word or literally. So support me emotionally. And so what's happening is women are out there saying that men don't support. There's no emotional
men lack emotional content.
No, what's the EQ? What does EQ stand for, Chris?
Emotional
intelligence.
Quotient.
Intelligence.
No,
well, it's not emotional intelligence. I know it's not quotient, but it could be. Anyways, they saying that men. Okay,
it's emotional. It's
emotional intelligence. Men don't have emotional intelligence these days.
It's emotional quotient. I knew I was right.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional quotient. The actual definition says emotional intelligence, otherwise known as emotional quotient or EQ. So yes, EQ.
Right, EQ. Okay, so now when I listen to this, hold on one second.
I'm going to tell you the problem when it comes to fucking with girls who have money and where men go wrong. We know that men are supposed to be providers and protectors. It is extremely important to a man's ego to know that he's able to take care of his woman, which is fine until you come across a woman who's independent. Now here's the real question. Are you able to still provide without providing financially? Most men are so lazy to offer you anything else that they rather just pay your bills.
Most men are so lazy that they don't want to offer you anything else but just cutting the check.
are in relationships because they need the man financially. So when that's off the table, what am I depending on you for? Because it's not financial. So can you support me to be a better woman? Can you learn to cook for me? Can you clean? Can you be there for me emotionally? And then they say you're too masculine.
Can you be there for me emotionally? So the reason why I wanted to play that again is because I listened to the 9 points that you brothers made when she said, "Can you support me emotionally?" Men don't want to do anything other than pay a bill. They don't. We us guys, we're just we're relegated down to a ATM. We are walking, talking, bleeding, breathing ATMs. We're just a bank. And we want to be that. That we don't want to be anything else, is what she says. That's all we want to be. Now, Chris says, well, supporting women emotionally is to listen intently. That's number one. Chris also says, give her space to speak. That's number two. Wes says, we need to understand that women are equal, not the same, but equal. And Wes says, uh, women want to know that um, we don't have to always be strong. We don't let the guard down and let her in and show her our weak spots and be vulnerable to our women, to let her know, because we don't want her to be protected, as Wes said, but she'll still feel alone if we're always on guard. So put the weapon down, put your sword away. Come on in here, baby. Let me show you where, you know, how you can kill me, how you can hurt me, how you can, and trust that you won't do that.
So Wes is saying that is supporting her emotionally.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
Oh,
It is.
Wes says
Yeah.
also, um, be willing to consider. No, was this Wes or was this Luke Skywalker? Be willing to consider her thoughts and feelings. No, this is Luke. Be willing to consider her thoughts and feelings. That's because men don't do that, right? That's what women
now
are
I
saying.
agree. Now there I agree. I agree with
All right,
that.
be willing to consider her thoughts and feelings. And he added emotions, but I removed it because emotions is what we're talking about. He also mentioned the other things which we already talk about, which is part of the P's, right? The 4 P's: lifting her burdens, that's problem solving. Then he said, be security, that's protecting, and be reliable. Now, I don't know about you fellas, but I don't know too many men in relationships, failed or otherwise, who want to just be an ATM, as this woman on that video showed. I don't know anybody that just wants to pay a bill and don't do nothing else. Let's take it from the top. Listen intently. I think men do listen. I think we're the best goddamn listeners. We're the pillow. We are. You know how many men listen to women come home and gossip about their coworkers or how they hate their boss or what happened on set today or how or her thoughts about the neighbor down the street, and the husband is listening. It gets to the point, I know, eventually that it becomes white noise, and that's where Charlie Brown's teacher comes in. But we listen. Wah, wah, wah. Exactly. But we listen. But if that is the definition of being emotionally supportive, why can't it just be a good listener? Then give her space to speak. What do you mean by that, Chris? Exactly. Expound on giving her space to speak. As
So
in, we encroach on women's space. We shut them down. Is it she wants
yep,
to talk and we say shut the fuck up? Is that what we do?
maybe not shut up, but more so when they start talking, they
Mm-hmm.
we some men, I won't do like people everybody does, right? I'm not speaking to that. Some men have a tendency to jump in and be Mr. Fix It, or some
Ah,
men
a
have a
problem
tendency,
solver. Do you mean
right?
lifting burdens? Number 7.
Some men have a tendency to be Captain Save 'em. They want to save the
Ah,
day every single time
be
instead of
security.
just letting her just talk.
Be
Because
security and reliable.
sometimes, right, because sometimes women just need to just talk. And what some women may not understand is that we are not their girlfriends. And so you can't talk my ear off like you do to your girlfriend, because I'm not that, because I have a meter after, X amount of words, I'm like, okay, I'm either gonna solve it or you gonna stop talking about it.
So we shouldn't solve it. So are you
sometimes we
suggesting that
shouldn't.
when you say give the space, because see what you're doing is the one thing that women saying that we don't do. It's almost like, which one is it? Do you want me to solve the problems? Do you want me to come in and be security? Do you want me to be reliable and be the one that can come in and give you the information that you need so you can make a better decision on whatever is going on? Or do you want me to just shut up and listen and not say anything? And when you're done, so am I damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't?
No, so that was the second one of the parts that I mentioned, that they sometimes need us to say when they start talking, right before they get into the good part, do you want me to solve or do you want me to listen?
You want that question? So are you expecting men to ask women that specific question before she gets into her?
I think that more men should, because when you start asking them, should you solve or listen, and you give them the power, then they realize that you're not the, like Wes said, we're equal in essence, but not in function.
So I gotta jump in right here, Chris. What I hear, that's the definition of beta behavior. If you go to your woman and ask her, what do you want me to do here?
What would you like me to do, honey?
Instead of taking action and making that decision on your own, we talk about alpha beta all the time. That's beta behavior. Now, your woman
even just leadership.
Your woman has to come to a point where she has to she's either gonna be behind you and with you or she's not. Because when I make a decision, that's what the decision is. Like, my woman knows, don't bring me nothing that you don't need solving. Because now I become desensitized, like, oh, okay, this one I just gotta listen to. This one she wants me to solve. Now it's like the line in between that becomes blurred.
Yeah, but Shahid, I respect what you're saying, brother, but that's the work of being in a relationship. That's the work of getting to know your woman, is that line. When is it? When do I need to solve? When do I whatever? That's not, it sounds like what you're asking for is you want it to be black and white all the way down the middle.
When it comes to my relationships, I lead when it comes to protection and security.
Right, I get that.
I dictate this is how we are going to protect and secure. How I'm going to protect and secure. If you don't like it, you can, the door's there. You know what I mean? So because I don't have the time to, oh, she didn't want me to do, like, don't talk to me about your coworker, your male coworker, because it might come to my ear. I might think, oh, he's harassing my woman, and I'm gonna go see him.
Right.
And
so look, moreover, what woman is not going to ask you to do both? No, you don't have to solve anything. Just listen to me today. I just want you to be ear.
Right.
Or no, I need you to spring into action. So here, let me tell you. That's not that doesn't seem like that's rational or in a that doesn't even seem like something that would happen in a reality.
That's the real world. That happens every single day. Women oftentimes, and if you ask women, you'll find out that sometimes women will be like, "No, I don't want you to chime in on it or to solve it or to give me the solution." Now, we're not talking about. I definitely get what you're saying, Shahid, but we're not talking about
reality. Though you have so many situations where women bring problems like this, and the man he go into action. And then now I'm in a fight with my woman because I didn't say something to dude or I didn't
keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Exactly.
But here's the point. Here's the thing.
He have turned to Jada? That's what you guys are suggesting is Will should have went to Jada and
said, No. See now
would you like
you're doing that whole extreme thing. That's
would you like
that's the part
I'm not saying that at all.
That's the part that's not
let me address that real quick. So for me, I don't think
that's not reality.
Chris was talking.
Go ahead, Wes.
Look, that's all I'm saying is that part of what your example Shan, is not reality. The reality of it is that
Vader.
Yeah, my bad.
Lord Vader. Lord Vader.
D. All right, D. Lord D. Okay, cool. No, we're not gonna do that. No. Nope. Right. But look,
Big Black Lord D.
Oh shit. Listen, all I'm saying is, and then I give it to you, Chris. All I'm saying is I get that example. That example though is extreme, but the reality of it is that, and I've experienced it, and I've seen other people experience it, is that women oftentimes there are situations. So first of all, to Shahid's point, yes, there are certain situations that are more about security, that and protection, that we are going to spring into action, and it's not going to be a question that she's not going to have the ability to choose how we decide to handle it, which is why she needs to be discerning about what it is that she does bring to us, because some things we just gonna take over, and that's gonna be what it is. But there are a whole lot of other things that aren't that we might have the answer to, whether it's mathematically or economically, what we might think she might need to do in a certain situation or whatever it might be. And she may not want that. She may just want to feel heard at that
No,
point.
Wes.
That's reality. That happens all the time.
Wes, but did you just hear what you said? You just said that we might have the answers to.
Yeah. But just because we have the answer, this is just true in life. And
don't give it to her, Shahid.
It's not about not giving it to her. It's not about not giving it to her, but it's about not giving it to her in that moment. It's about letting her finish, letting her be heard, and perhaps even allowing her to figure it out. If someone gave us answers along our way, we wouldn't have become the men that we've become. A lot of it is trial and error. And this goes back to what I was saying about equality. But going back to the equality aspect of it is understanding that as a journey that she needs to go through, that she needs to experience, that helps her individual growth as a human being. And so it's essential.
Wes, you're in the Matrix.
I'm losing Wes.
Wes, you're in the Matrix. You got to get off a dial-up.
I can kind of finish where he was going.
Let me jump in real quick so I can address it. So first, it's not beta behavior to take a leadership position and say, do I need to solve or do I need to listen? I can solve everything, right? That's number one. Number two, for me, similar to me being a parent who may see a child going in the wrong direction, sometimes, like I told my son, he's 13. We were having a conversation and I said, well, I know I'm right. I said, but I'm going to strategically be quiet until you come to the realization that you need to come to me. That's still leadership. It's still executing at a high level of leadership. And that's just how I choose to operate, right? It's perfectly fine that you don't agree, and I'm okay with that, right? Because your relationship is yours and mine is mine, right? And we can, two things can be true, right? You can do it this way and I can do it that way and they still work, right? So I'm not coming against your way. I'm just saying it's not beta for me to say, do you want me to listen or solve? I already know I have the answer, right? Because that's what is in me. I am a problem solver. I'm not only a problem solver, I'm an executor. So
she says, no, I don't want you to solve anything for me, Chris. Just listen. I already know what I think I'm gonna do.
Yep.
And she tells you what she's gonna do, and you know that she's gonna fail.
Fall on her butt. And sometimes, and this is the honest God truth. Sometimes women need to fall on their butt to realize that, guess what? You got to come back to me anyway, because if you would have listened to me, you would have came to me, because you can't control everything that they do.
That sounds like ego. That sounds like you.
Yeah, it really did. But what it boils down to, I actually used those words today, maybe an hour before we came on air. I was having a conversation with someone.
What words, Rob? So we can.
I was telling. We were having a conversation about something that was a pressing issue, was a serious issue. It sounded like to me this woman had already come up with her solution and what it was she was going to do. So in the middle of the conversation, I stopped and I asked her, so are you calling me because you want to have a conversation about this, or have you already made up your mind what you're going to do? At that point, it releases me from any reliability from it, because you're gonna make a decision. In a relationship where I feel like that's not a beta thing to do, is you also want to create an atmosphere where you can create a strong individual. By always taking over what that individual is taking over the problems, you're not allowing that person to grow with themselves individually. You're not allowing them to build confidence within themselves. You're not allowing them to have problem-solving skills within themselves. Because every now and then, our women are going to have to solve problems without us. Every now and then, they have to know that they're going to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. Every now and then, they have to know that they can put up boundaries independent of whatever it is that we create for them. It's not a beta thing to ask or what. It's actually a strong thing to do, to say, I'm going to set my ego and my pride and my macho-ness aside, because my first reaction is to go Will Smith this dude. But how is it that we can handle this? Is there another way we can handle it? If go ahead and try it. If your stuff don't work, I might have to step in and do something about it. But I am going to allow you the space and
You
the
may not get a
opportunity
second chance to do it. Though.
Exactly. So
Say
y'all are
what?
willing, what y'all are saying is y'all are willing to let your woman go out there
Yeah.
and try to figure it out herself, and then live with the consequences.
What I'm saying is I'm willing to respect my woman enough, if that is her wish, to allow her to try, as opposed to just say, you know what, I don't respect your thought of your own independence or strength enough to allow you to try. I'm saying
Let's see
that's
what you're
but
doing,
I
Rob.
disagree. I can disagree with her all the way around. I can disagree with her, tell her, hey, I don't think that's the way we should do it, but I'm gonna allow you to do this. And if this doesn't work, we're gonna go my way.
Yeah, Rob, but what you're doing is you're adding a new caveat to it, that all of a sudden now the women, they know the solution to the problem and they know they're going to do it. So not only
And why
are they venting,
why did she come to you anyway?
right? Like,
Well, would you rather just not know what's going on? Would you rather her just handle the situation and you?
yeah, but that wasn't
to the whole
that wasn't the scenario, Rob. This is not what typically happens. This is what you just added to prove your point. When women come to you, they vent, and we have a decision to make. We listen or we solve. They're not coming to you venting with the solution already in hand.
No, sometimes they do. They do. And I think a lot of men, we miss that. And that's what me, Chris, and Wes are saying. We miss that because we are so intent on solving the problem. But sometimes the problem, they already have a solution. They just want to talk it out. Every now and then, we have to talk out our issues. We may be in business and we have to talk out what business move we're going to do. We might have a decision we want to do it already. We already know we're going to go this route. But we still have to talk it out from time to time to make sure everything makes sense.
Talk what out? Ain't nothing to talk. Talk it out means it's a back and forth. It means, what do you think? What? Because you guys are acting like women don't say. So what do you think? What do you think means please solve it, or looking for confirmation bias. Y'all are making it seem like women is coming around and telling you what the fuck happened and this is what she's gonna do and I just needed somebody to talk to. They don't come to men for that. When you ask women, what do you want in a man? You know what the number one thing is? I want somebody that can teach me and show me stuff. You don't hear men say, I want a woman that can teach me something. Which one of y'all niggas up here say, well, maybe y'all Federation motherfuckers. I need a woman that can teach me something. What man do you know has ever said that? Which one of you have ever said, I need a woman that can show me something new, show me new things?
I can guarantee you there's a couple of us on stage that'll be like, I want a woman that can challenge me.
That's not what I'm asking.
Not the same thing.
That's not what I'm asking.
Yeah, Rob, I got to disagree with you. Challenge me is not the same thing as teach me. Yeah, I got to firmly disagree on that one.
Women.
And so here's the thing that I'll add. The reason why I can trust my woman to go out and make a decision, because I will be gathering, or I will have a wise woman, and I won't have a foolish one that's just going to go out and not have a base of our relationship and how I already operate and how I think we should already execute. I'm not going to get somebody that doesn't know what I already think or how I operate, right? So from those principles, she generally will move. She'll have her own base, right? Because she's a human that she had way before she met me. But when she comes to me, we're going to operate this way. And if you say you want to go out and solve that, okay, you know how we operate, what we need to do, you go out and execute, right? She's going to be wise enough to move and make the right decisions. That's the kind of woman that I already have. It's still okay to disagree.
Yeah,
okay,
let me jump in
ahead,
here real quick, because I roll with AAA. I'm a natural born leader. Every honest woman out there that desires a man in their life need to look at a man and check his leadership qualities. That means that you have to have situations that arise that a man will ascertain, assess, and spring into action. When it doesn't work, that's when you have the conversation. Women want to feel protected. You know how many times I've heard women say, I don't feel protected? But then there are some women who actually jump from man to man to man, trying to be saved from the other man.
To girl.
And
back to me.
But I'm not gonna go there. This is not an indictment against women. I'm just saying that as a leader, you naturally have to solve problems. And sometimes you just can't you can't have a debate about it. You just got to do it.
Or don't
and
come to me.
I'll toss the mic back.
But see, he even said sometimes. I don't know if he meant that. Are you sticking with that sometimes? Because sometimes we don't need to go slap Chris Rock.
No, I'm speaking to the fact that you can't debate everything.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta,
agree with that.
in real time, you gotta make real decisions.
I
You gotta
agree
be
with
quick
that.
on your feet as the leader, as the man, as somebody that's going to lead a woman. You can't be debating about, okay, what do you think, honey? Nah, I gotta go do this, and then we'll suffer the consequences after the fact.
All right.
I agree with
All right.
Jerron, your thoughts on the topic.
As we go to it,
Let's bring in
go ahead,
Jerron.
Chris.
No, just Jerron, did you get a chance to hear the video?
No, but I know the question is, what do you bring to the table as a man other than money?
So, Shane, can you repeat the first question, and then he can jump in on the second one? About what is it to...
When the problem is you don't have anything valuable to come across a woman who's independent. Now here's the real question. Are you able to see the problem when it comes to fucking with girls who have money and where men go wrong? We know that men are supposed to be providers and protectors. It is extremely important to a man's ego to know that he's able to take care of his woman, which is fine until you come across a woman who's independent. Now here's the real question. Are you able to still provide without providing financially? Most men are so lazy to offer you anything else that they rather just pay your bills. Most women are in relationships because they need the man financially. So when that's off the table, what am I depending on you for? Because it's not financial, so can you support me to be a better woman? Can you learn to cook for me? Can you clean? Can you be there for me emotionally? And then they say you're too masculine for them. When the problem is you don't have anything valuable to bring to the table other than your money.
So it sounds
When you
like
don't have anything valuable to bring to the table other than your money, if you don't have no money, then you are not valuable. In her words, most men are not valuable unless you got money. What the fuck do I need you for if you can't pay bills? Because you're not willing to do anything else, like cook for her, clean for her, help her be a better woman, and be emotionally supportive. If you don't have those things, then what the fuck does she need you for? That's what she's basically saying. You need to cook, clean, help build her up, basically get on her program, and
That is not what she is saying.
That's exactly what she's saying. That is exactly what she's saying.
That's what y'all hearing.
No.
Continue. Go ahead, Jerron.
What else can you do for me? I do this, I do this, I do this. You need
it's a legit question.
And do whatever I need you to do. That's exactly what it is.
So, Jerron, other than your big therapist dollars, Jerron, what you bringing to the table, baby?
Well, I'm not gonna. I'm more than my money anyway. I mean, I'm more than just a financial person. I have more to bring to the table. I have more that meets the eye. For one, I can bring a level of integrity to the table. Everybody can't say that. I can also bring a level of patience, a level of understanding, to be able to, in certain situations, understand certain type of things, and also being able to, of course, lead. And I can also bring a level of providing some type of safe haven. When I say safe haven, I mean some type of protection, where I have to step in and be the leader and do what I need to do. But she feels protected, where she knows that things are going to get done in the way they need to get done. She don't have to worry about getting things accomplished. They're going to be taken care of. And that doesn't always have to do with money. You have to sometimes take care of things in other ways that's not even including money. But for her to know that when things need to get taken care of, they'll be taken care of. Financially, I mean, anybody can provide for somebody financially. That's the most basic level to me of what somebody can bring to the table. But if a person can't bring a level of integrity, a person can't bring a level of patience and understanding, then you really don't have anything. And the stuff that she was saying, I mean, I'm working on her program. No, I'm the person that's bringing the stuff to the table. She's going to line up what I'm bringing to the table. She's going to accept it or not. But at the end of the day, I know what I stand for. I know what I believe in. And that's what I'm going to stand on. And it is what it is at the end of the day. So my biggest things are integrity, patience, and understanding. And if I have all those things, I mean, I feel like I can bring some sense of safe haven. And I think at the end of the day, most women just want to feel they want to feel appreciated first. They want to feel protected. Those are two most important things. Appreciated. They want to feel heard, and they want to feel protected. And those type of things right there are some of the basic things that you can bring to a woman. And those things right there don't even require money. Appreciate the woman. You don't have to always have to pay to appreciate somebody. For them to be heard, you can always listen. You don't have to provide no money for that. And for protection, you don't have to take out your wallet for somebody to feel protected. So those three things right there are the three things I know for sure I bring to the table.
Well, see, that's the argument, though, Jerron. The argument that women are having, this woman in particular, but she's representing really a larger than I'd like to see majority of women, is they don't need you for that. They don't need you for protecting. They got guns and 911. You know, they don't need a level of understanding. You don't speak their language anyway. We don't so that's why I kind of honed in on that part where she was talking about emotional um understanding. Was it emotional understanding? Yeah, no, it's emotional support. Supporting women emotionally. And I asked the fellas to break down what does supporting women emotionally actually mean? Because to me, it seems nonsensical, because that's almost like, like the argument of what's a high value man. Well, that's not my value. That's not my definition of a high value man. A high value man is somebody of integrity and somebody who loves his family and it's like, goddamn, we already laid out exactly what that means. It's a term that was created by women a long time ago. Parameters was put on it recently. 6 pieces are necessary. Now, if you want to talk about what's high value versus high quality, what's high quality versus high integrity, everybody wants to redefine stuff. But when we use these words that are so kind of like
It's hyperbole, Shan.
yeah, it's hyperbole. It's hyperbole. It really is, because I need you to support me emotionally. What? So you saying I don't listen? We only went through the first 3. You saying I don't listen? You say I don't give you space to speak? You saying that I don't and this is 2.5, because I skipped this part. I don't ask you, do you want me to solve things, or do you want me to just listen? Do you just need an ear tonight, or do you need me to spring into action? And then there was understand that she is equal. Now this is what Obi-Wan had said. He's like, we need to understand, women need to know that they're equal in the relationship, and that they are, while we are not necessarily the same, that we are equal. I won't really get into that one, because I want to just move on to always be strong is what men are, but we shouldn't be. This is what Wes is saying. We shouldn't always be strong with our women. Wes is suggesting that we should let her in and show her our weaknesses and be vulnerable. We can not do that with her, and she'll feel protected, but she'll be all alone. How's that worked out for most men? How's that worked out, where we're letting women in, showing them our weak spots, showing them what bothers us? I mean, I'm not really sure. And then they've showing them the buttons that drive us up the wall, and then they don't push them. They protect those buttons. They make sure that those buttons never get pushed. They lock them away in the safe. They throw away the key to make sure it is never pushed again. Or are some of those buttons used as weapons? I don't know. Everybody's different, right? Depends on the woman that you with, depends on the man, whatnot. But should men turn off their security system and let their women know the code to the heart, and the code to the mind, and code into the emotional side of the men, just so she can feel like she's part of something? I think that's what Wes is really saying. He's saying that, let her know that she's a part of something, and not just, she wants to know that she's an owner of the business, not just a hot, not just an employee that can't get fired.
Shan, wouldn't that make a woman feel like she's patronizing her.
I'm asking y'all because I got my thoughts.
No, I think what it plays to, and just from experiences that I've had, it plays to, you know how we always say we want a safe place. If a
Mhm.
woman's providing us that safe place, but we choose not to use it, they feel like they're not good enough. They're not good enough to actually deserve our vulnerability, or we don't feel they're good enough to deserve our vulnerability. We're holding back a piece of ourselves that they want to love, but don't know how to love because we don't give them the opportunity to love or do anything with it.
But when do you find that safe space though? Because are you gonna look for that in that person in the very beginning? Because I wouldn't. Just me. I mean,
That's
that takes a while to build up, and if you're based off of real world life experiences, everybody real world life experiences will be different. So the way you may have been in relationships and the things you've gone through, it's going to dictate how you go about looking for that safe space or letting your guard down and telling the woman about your weaknesses and things like that versus the way somebody else may look at that. I may not look for that right off because in other relationships somebody could have possibly used those things against me, and so where you may go into the relationship right off the bat looking for those particular type of things, me, it may take me some months, sometimes some years, before I get to the point where I feel comfortable enough to let down my guard and to let somebody in to see that side of me.
Yeah, but then you're not being emotionally supportive. You're not, and she's feeling all alone because you're not letting her in. Jerron, that's what Obi-Wan says.
But at the end of the day, the ideal goal being in a relationship is to learn each other to the end of time. You can't give everything up all at once. The relationship will get boring and stale, and then you'll get tired of each other. That's I mean, it's nothing for a man to still protect his integrity and still hold on to his leadership qualities without, having debates and stuff like that. I say you can confer, defer, and then make a decision. Doesn't mean you have to.
So DB,
Yes. DB is in effect tonight.
he froze. He froze.
God didn't want us to hear that nonsense, Wes.
There you go. He's back.
So, real quick, I want to give everybody an opportunity. If you have not got an opportunity to join this conversation, please, by all means, I want you to click the link that's right there in the comments, right? Join.aabma, or I'm sorry, it's now call.aabma.live. And if you have some feedback that you want to add or comment that you want to add that we didn't get a chance to highlight in the comments, make sure you click that comment and join this conversation. The producer is only going to ask you to show your face so that we can recognize that you're a real person, and then you don't have to stay on camera. But if you do have a question, you're always welcome to hit this link right here, questions@aabma.live, and email us, and we'll answer those questions live. And so with that, I'll toss it back to the fellas. Toss it back to Shan, actually.
There was a point you had said, Shannon. I was going to speak on it, but go ahead. If you say it again, I'll jump in.
Oh, you forgot it? Because I don't know it.
I got some things that's popping off at the same time. So.
No, it's just I guess to make it simple, man. To make it simple, I, like when I was live earlier on my show today, I said I believe that there are more good men than bad men, and women just pick bad men. I believe that there are more men that do right, be right, look right, and act right than there are men that don't. But women seem to select those guys that don't, and there's no incentive for those guys that don't to do better because the women are selecting them, right? So when I see stuff like when I see videos like this girl up here saying, I wish there was what do I need? What do outside of your money, what are you good for? And it's just like, God damn. And you guys laid it out. You guys laid out a lot of reasons. We could speak all night as to what the reasons why. I mean, Shaheed made it real simple. Okay, how much is my security worth? How much is, what was that? At 2:00 in the morning, and you heard footsteps go across your roof over on the other end of the dining room. or you heard your window open up at 3:45 a.m. and you and your man is in bed and both of y'all woke up. What is it worth? How much does that cost for me to get up and for me to tell you stay right here, I'll be back?
You know what's even added on to that before we even get to that, Shan? How
Hmm.
much is it worth for us to say, call me when you get home so I know you made it safe? That sense of peace, knowing that somebody's looking out for you, if you're in a dating situation, that sense of peace is priceless. There's no dollar amount, that there's no gun, no taser. You won't react fast enough. You might not react calm enough. If something goes wrong, or you get home at 10:30, or I'll be home, GPS says I'll be home at 10:30, and at 10:45 or 10:35, 10:40 he's calling you. Hey, you told me you was gonna be home. Are you okay? Is everything
Yeah.
all right? Did you make it safely? That is
Yeah.
priceless. That's
And as an
something that
example, women do that too though, Chris. Women say, "Hey, call me when you get home." But if I didn't call you, or if I called you and said, "There's a strange man wearing all black sitting on my porch," I, what you
Call
gonna
the
do?
call the
Yeah, I ain't gonna
police.
do that.
Call
Call
the
the
police.
police.
get the strap.
I can call the
You ain't
police.
got no
What you
ride or
gonna
die.
do? Say, wait right there. I'll be there. What you gonna do? You gonna say, oh my God, I'll call the police. That you gonna do what I can do. But you know what? Maybe my hands are tied, or maybe I'm in a fisticuff. Maybe I'm scrapping with this motherfucker, and you hear it because he came to the car, and now we fighting. And so you are able to call the police. So it's good for me to call you and let you know I'm home. I understand, but the difference in me telling you for you to call me when you get home is I'm gonna respond faster than 911. You see, when
Facts.
you call me and say, "Hey, Shannon, there's some guy on my porch in all black," I'm gonna say, "I'll be there in 3.5 minutes." Call the
I'm
police, but I'm
already
gonna
on
beat
the way.
I'll call the police, but I'll beat them there. We'll both
Big facts.
we'll greet the police together because I'm gonna be there in 3 minutes, and I'm blowing through every red light. If a guy was standing on my porch, what you gonna do? Get dressed and rush over? No, you're not gonna do that. And that's what we're explaining. So when we talk about monetary value to security, and this is just one. This is the easiest example because it transcends all human beings. Everybody wants to live, right? So that's why we always go to violence when we talk about security. Now, security means a whole lot more things than that, but this one here is a level cross. I mean, is leveling the playing field across all cultures, countries, people. So we talk about violence and protecting in terms of physical uh, protection. And so my thing is, what is like Shahid is saying, what is that worth? Like Chris is saying, what is that worth? Okay, no problem. That's what I do. That's what I can do. But since you don't think that that's worth anything because you got an iPhone and if you hold the button down for 5 seconds or you tap it, the center button 4 times, 911 is going to go out. So I'm now replaced. Okay, if you believe that, no problem. And we could go on and on. I did a show today called Automation and Robots. Some robots was cleaning the bathrooms, and I was like, okay, no problem. It's a whole lot of jobs that's going the way to the dodo bird. Cashiers, gone, 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 gone. Now they're getting rid of janitorial services. Gone, gone, gone. Won't need whole lot of maids. And a lot of women are not in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. A lot of women do not want to crunch numbers or write code. You can barely get you guys to buy a Bitcoin.
Hey,
So,
Chris.
so my thing is, you don't think you need men today? No problem. That's what they said 20 years ago, and all those women now are spinsters, is what we call them.
Can we put? I hope it's not in reference to what I said, but maybe it is. Can we put Carlin's comment on the screen? I want to address that really quick.
We
What
have
Which
friends and
one?
is it?
parents.
Is it the one that says we have friends and parents for that?
Yeah, I mean, in some people's mind, that's a good point. However, I've been in this situation before. This is why I brought up that value and that dollar amount. How would you equate it? Because, for example, a man should be only responsible for his family and his unit. I was in a situation where my cousin and her baby daddy got into it. I'm young. I'm a young bull. I'm like 19. I'm ready to rip this dude's head off. And I'm upset at my pops because everybody around and kind of just not really letting it happen because it never escalated to that. But I saw it could go there. And my pop snatched me back. He said, what you doing? That's how they make love. And I never understood that until, years later, like, oh, this is just what they do. But now for me, my cousin it was her man at the time, but let's say I have a family, I have children and a wife, etc. Now I'm stepping outside my security unit, my protection unit to go protect something else, and I lose my life here. Now what? Now you gonna
Friends. Right. What friends is gonna spring into action on some shit?
Right.
It's delusion. It's like the delusion is wild.
Imagine your husband getting up out of bed or leaving your home to go protect his friend.
The homie. The homegirl.
So,
and you got
people, man. Yeah, and here's the thing that I think, like, so you have friends and parents to say, call me when you get home. You do.
What the parent?
But let's say, for example, because I know a little bit more information, let's say you have a child that's in college and you don't live in the same state that your child in, and this is your child, and she's dating a young man that's being her protector. And he says, hey, call me when you get home. If something happens when she goes back to her home and there's no security and she lives off, and she doesn't live on campus, there's a big difference between, him being able to respond quickly and you having to catch a flight to get there. Not everybody lives in the same city and state that their parents live in. Not everybody's friends. Not everybody's friends will pick up after 10 o'clock.
Jump in your car, Chris. Jump in your car and drive.
Right? If my son called me right now and said, Dad, I have a problem. He is 1 hour and 45 minutes away at Fort Valley. That's a drive. I'm going to go because that's my son. But my voice can get there a lot faster and my problem solving can get there a lot faster than my car can. Because even if I'm driving 100 miles an hour, I still can't get there as fast as my problem solving can. Want to definitely give a super shout out to, put that back up, Shannon, real quick, to Sir Hale Speaks. Thank you, sir, for supporting the show. Salute to the bros at Shannon and the bros on the panel. Thank you very much for your super chat. As always, if you want to send a super chat, you can send it to $ Ask a Black Man Anything. That is literally all of our financial support. It's PayPal, it's Cash App, it's Zelle. I think it's all of it. So
y'all can send Bitcoin too if you want to.
Chris, like, don't get Shannon nothing. Give it to us.
No, it's all gonna circle back in.
Hey, look what Carla said. She said, because he said, call me when you get home, that's not something particular to men. That's exactly the point, Carla. It's not particular to men for women to say that. It happens, but it's really just as a gesture. It's just it's a good gesture when women say it. For men, it's a reality. And that's our point. That's Shahid's point. When you say it to me, if something happens, I got to do something about it. If I say it to you, then it's just like, if I tell you that there's a stranger in the yard, it's like, oh my God, are you okay? Well, what, you want me to stay on the phone? It's that kind of shit.
Can I be transparent?
Who's she calling though, Wes? When is she went to the grocery store or something at night and she's getting in the car, or she just went out somewhere with her friends and it's night and she's trying to get back home? She gonna call her man until she get home to make sure she get home safe. She ain't gonna call her girlfriend.
Look,
that makes too much sense, Jerron.
I'm gonna be transparent for a minute. When a woman asks me to call her when I make it home, I always I take it as she want to see if I'm going straight home. That's another show.
Yeah, what that's tantamount to. That's tantamount to when she pop up at your house and she just checking on you.
Right.
You just check. What you thought? What you thought I'm falling and I can't get up? What the fuck you mean? You just checking on me? No, you just want to see if I'm smashing. Don't pop.
I don't do pop-ups. That's my number one rule in dating. Do not pop up at my house. Anyway.
So yeah, you guys, we can move on. I just was the point was when I hear like, and this is our hot topic of the night, right? This is when a woman comes on and says, "What good are men other than money?" Because men, and it's not that she's saying men aren't good. She's saying that what men could be good at, men aren't willing to do, and I call cap on that. What good are men other than money? Because most women are with men because they need money, and men aren't willing to do anything but pay some bills, and that's all they want to do. And I think that's total bullshit because everything that these brothers said that men should do in terms of supporting women emotionally, I believe most men do. I believe most men do listen. I believe there's one that they don't, and I agree with Chris. And this is what Robert said. But I get to that. I do believe that most men listen intently. I do believe most men give women space. I don't think that men ask women, should we solve or listen? I think we just all automatically. And the fact that you talking to me about this shit, you want me to give you an answer as to what to do, or you want me to do something myself. One of the two.
Yep,
You.
I agree with
This is
that.
what understand that she is equal. That's just
70-30.
Obi-Wan being Obi-Wan. But always be strong, and and don't always be strong with your woman. There's a quote that I read. Let me see. It said, it was a meme today. Unfortunately, weak men are growing in numbers. Beta males are becoming the new norm. A woman put that on her Instagram. She said,
That's how
unfortunately,
that's how
huh?
that book Men Cry in the Dark got written. So, so
Unfortunately, weak men are growing in numbers. Beta males are becoming the new norm. See, women and this is what I mean. Women don't want weak men. I get it. We should open up and be. What was a TV show where a man was like trying to get this woman, and he had an angel that it was like a comedy, and he had an angel that was granting all his wishes, and he was like, I want to be emotional, so he started crying and couldn't stop crying on the beach, and the girl was like, ugh, I forget what it was. It was that comedian. Anyways, you be overly emotional, women is gonna be like, what the fuck, man up.
Right, but you see, that's an
Women are
extreme though.
the quickest ones to tell a man to man up.
Right, listen, and
You,
that's an
you know what's the
extreme.
craziest thing about that, Shan?
Wait, hold
And
on,
I'm
hold on,
gonna
hold on.
toss it to you.
Wes was getting ready to cook.
No, go ahead,
Go.
You
go ahead.
got it's 10
Oh, go ahead,
seconds.
Chris.
It literally does not let her take responsibility for the choices and men that she takes. She's saying, "Oh, men don't do this. Men don't do this." Wait a minute. What about you keep picking the same type of men that don't do that, sis? What about I need to take responsibility and maybe become a better person and pick better people? Because if I'm picking the same people over and over, maybe it can't be them because the common denominator is me. Go ahead, Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all I was gonna say was that I hear you, Sam, but you keep giving an extreme example. We're not talking about a man that's crying all the
Well,
time.
that's what we all do. We all do extremes here. I figure I just jump in line. But go ahead.
But the point though is simply just
Open up to your woman.
right. And listen, and to your point you said earlier about that, about showing her your weaknesses, and yes, some women will turn that on you and use that against you. But then I welcome that, because then that means that that's not my woman. That's not my person. A woman, because the right woman is going to protect that. She's going to honor it. She's going to appreciate it, respect it, and she's going to protect it, even from herself.
You looking
The
for you?
right
So you
woman,
chasing unicorns? Okay.
So
yeah,
yeah, but
exactly.
Wes,
I'm chasing unicorns with tits. Absolutely.
think about all that time. Think about all that time you put in when you didn't did all that, and then you finally realized that she not going for all that, and you about to just jump ship and leave and go start over.
No. But see, I'm discerning, so I'm leaning into that. So since I know that, at least for me, that's important to have a woman with empathy, a woman who can who actually wants what she says she wants. Because you're right, Shan. A lot of women. The funny thing is, a lot of women talk about they want a man to open up and be emotional, but but they are also guilty of calling that man weak because
Well,
he opens up and he's emotional. But what I'm
look what
saying,
Kanye. Look what they did to Kanye. Look what they did to Michael Jordan. Look what they. You
right,
know what I'm saying? They turn to you. Don't look what they did to Will Smith at the red table. They turn you into a meme.
right. But so here's my point though. My point to your to what you said, Shan. Shahid, is that I'm also going to be discerning. I'm going to lean into it early and be discerning. And therefore, I'm going to give her those things, give her those parts of me early on to see if she's a good steward of it, to see how she takes care of that piece of me. I'm not going to give her all of me, but I'm going to give her those pieces. And I'm discerning to see how she takes care of it. And when I see that she's not a good steward of my heart, of my vulnerabilities, and then I'm out. So
You know what?
I'm never going to get
In a
that invested.
utopia, you know what, Wes, and you know better because it's almost like you too old to be talking like that. You know, in a utopia, in a perfect world, you know that would work. The unfortunate part is you already married her now. You already had a baby with her now.
Yeah.
You already spent $100,000 on it now. You're so invested, and that shit may not show up until too late. Then you like, what? Then what? And that's what's happening. It's not that men are ignoring that big ass red flag. It's that that flag is hidden until it's too late.
Then I'm gonna go
And
get me a chick on the side, and that's gonna be that. And then we're gonna have
I
another
think that
show about that.
I think that's a good point though, there, Shan, because I think a lot of, but there's a whole nother side of it, and I feel like I'm kind of discovering that more recently. Like there's different levels to vulnerability. Like we can have surface level vulnerability, and we can open up to a woman, and she'll respond perfectly. And then we can go a little bit deeper, and she'll respond perfectly. And then maybe we're being vulnerable, but it's about an issue that we have within the household. It's a direct conflict with an action that she has, and we speak to her about it, and all of a suddenly all that understanding and all that, oh, I'm trying to work with you stuff kind of goes out the window. But here I am diving deeper into the deepest parts of my vulnerability. Hey, this is my thing. This is the thing that can 100% jack me up. I need you to understand this, and we need to make sure that our actions work in agreement. Otherwise our relationship is going to be dead. I think a lot of times whenever we get to that point, a woman will mess that up, and then we'll never get back to that point. It'll be hard as hell for us to go that deep with a woman
yeah,
and trust
unless
that
you
So
get
trust
lucky.
that she's gonna
let
respond
Unless you
me.
get
correctly.
lucky. Have you guys saw the movie Meet Joe Black? It's an old school movie. Came out in
Yep,
'99 called
long time
Meet Joe
ago.
Black. Yeah, with Brad Pitt. And there's a scene in the movie where they're at a dinner, and Quince is one of the characters in there. And somebody asks Quince, the devil. I mean, I'm sorry, Death. You got to watch it to understand. But Death had asked Quince. He said, what do you love about your woman or something like that? And he was like, because she knows the worst parts of me, and it's okay. So that's one of the big famous quotes of that movie. My woman, he was drinking and he was kind of drunk, and he was thinking about like he looked at his wife. She was like down at the other end of the bar talking and shit, and he was just like, because she knows the worst parts of me, and it made it seem like he was like a little pedophile type weirdo or some kind of pervert or some shit. But he was like, she knows the worst parts of me, and it's okay. And that sounded great. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to write in a movie, and I'm sure it happens across the world, especially for relationships that go 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Think about our grandparents. Your granddad and your grandmama might have been super fucking freaks. You wouldn't know because you couldn't see that side of the closet where all the fucking whips and metal and leather and ball cocks were. You didn't know grandma and grandpa was freaks. You didn't know that, you didn't know the kind of shit that your grandma was sticking up your granddaddy's ass. You just didn't know, right?
Bruh, I ain't
What?
trying to get that visual either.
What?
I
I'm
really
just
ain't.
saying. That's Nana and Papa. But you didn't,
Wow.
the thing is, grandma protected him from that. But the reality is, with the divorce rate and people and the way people are throwing motherfuckers under the bus today, and the
With
way
several.
people are hating on each other today, and the way people are taking problems in their homes and running to their family and talking, and the way motherfuckers is running to their single friends and is basically fucking exposing their spouse to the homies.
You know, Shan,
I don't.
the moment that happens, the relationship is over for me. Because
Yeah.
I can't trust you no more.
Well,
I'm
it's
done.
happening. It's happening time and time
I'm
again.
done. Because
Discretion is not a virtue like it used to be. And
see,
so I hear what Wes is saying, and but oftentimes, sometimes you don't realize a motherfucker is not discretion, doesn't have any discretion until it's too late. Now to move on, because I know Chris, I think has a question that came in. The one thing that I do understand and when it comes to supporting women emotionally, is what Luke Skywalker said. He said, "Be willing to consider thoughts and feelings." Me and many men do not do that for women. It is men do not consider her thoughts and feelings. In fact, that was one of the arguments I remember my mother having about my dad.
Throw
It's
yourself up
it,
on a big.
you won't even it's not even so much that women want to come with a solution. They just want their opinion to be heard. And a lot of men want to silence their women. They want to just shut them down, shut the fuck up, out and give me your opinion when I ask for it. Outside of me asking for it, don't deliver it. And I think that's a very bad thing. And I think that's something that I've been uh,
Guilty of.
guilty of.
Yeah.
What?
And it's not even so much that because I already because you know me my pompous arrogant ass. I already know the solution, and more often than not, it works. But even if she don't know what the fuck she's talking about, let her talk about it. I'm guilty of listening to somebody who don't know what the fuck they're talking about and telling them shut up. I don't want to hear that shit because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But sometimes women just want, even if whether they know what they're talking about or they don't know what they're talking about, they want to be able to talk about it. And if you're not willing to consider a woman's thoughts and feelings, and he added emotion, but I removed it, thoughts and feelings, then you're kind of a fucked up individual, like I was. And you're not supporting a woman emotionally. If I had to use that term, if I had to go, that's the only of all 9 of these points, that's the one I would attribute to being emotionally available. And I know men don't do that shit.
I think a true man learns from each mistake he makes, and he has the ability to discern when the impact of your mistake is detrimental or how detrimental it is. That's what you do. You make adjustments. Sometimes, it takes a woman to tell you that it ain't working for me like that. But that doesn't mean she's going to dictate it to you. And that's the part that you have to really think about. Okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna dissect, and I'm gonna get some understanding before I launch back off into that deep, like I did the first time and made that mistake. And that I say this all the time. I'm not in a relationship to lord over a woman. I'm there to love on her. So with loving her comes understanding. Doesn't make me any less of a man, but it also makes me a true leader because I really, really can take criticism and say, "Hey, I hear you," and I'll get in my bag and make some adjustments.
Yo, Shan,
So, go ahead.
super quick. One thought I wanted to share with you was, you said something, and you're right when you say I'm too old to be thinking like that whole utopian shit, and you're right. And here's the key. The thing is, you and I and DB, the place that we've arrived in years and in experience. Along with that utopian idea that I have, and because I'm like you, twice married, twice divorced, I'm not doing it again unless it is that utopian idea. So that's I'm sober minded about the unicorn with tits that I'm looking for. I'm very sober about it. You know what I'm saying? And I know that might mean that that I'm a long way off from finding that, or that it's going to show, it's going to shrink that pool that I have to pull from, and I'm fucking okay with that.
I dig that. I can dig that. So listen, based on what the room or what the show is, what do black men bring to the table other than money? I want to remind women that feel that they don't need black men for anything other than money don't be so far gone from the pandemic. Don't be so far off from 2020 when we ran out of toilet paper and y'all motherfuckers didn't know what to do. I can give you all, the brothers and gave you guys a whole lot of examples. We can continue to go on and talk about it. We could talk about problem solving. We could talk about providing outside, and I'm not talking about financial. I'm talking about emotionally. I'm talking about intellectually. Half of y'all don't know what to vote for. Don't understand any of the what's on the ballot. Can't even it's a whole lot. Some of you guys don't even know how to operate your iPhone good. Don't know how to transfer contacts from one phone to another. It's a whole lot of shit. You don't know how to plug a you don't even know how to set up fucking Netflix on a TV. There's a whole lot of stuff that men can do. When you run around, you drive around with check engine lights on, ball tires. I mean, I could go on and on, but I do not want you guys to be so far gone from the pandemic that when we ran out of toilet paper, women nationwide, maybe not you that's listening to me now, but you was freaking out. Women nationwide was running around like a chicken with their head cut off because they couldn't get hand sanitizer and something to wipe their ass. I saw it with my own two eyes at Target on La Cienega.
We talked about it last year on our podcast. Yes, on the same show on Clubhouse.
I remember I'll never forget walking in there because I was cool because I knew I was gonna figure it out because that's just and all the men were cool. It was women that was up yelling and hollering and being frustrating the cashiers and shit. And these women had no men. They had to figure it out. And the men that was in there was getting the shit that they needed for their families. So, you got that figured out this time? But what about the next time when something else happens? What happens when gasoline? What happens if all your lights get cut off? See, you guys are so protected right now, women particularly. You're so protected by everything that essentially men have created. You've never gone 3 days with no lights. In your entire life, have you ever gone 72 hours with no lights, no electricity, no heat, no AC, no nothing? You've never gone. You've never had to deal with sleeping in your car. There's so many reasons why you never had to walk through a skid row. You've never been violated or had your house broken into or been incapacitated by a man that you couldn't stop. Speaking to Shaheed stuff. There was a clip, an Instagram reel that I watched. It was a young kid, and he asked a girl, just hear me out. It's one of them young guys that run around the city with a microphone asking people different questions and shit. And he went to this young girl and he said, if you and me was the last two people on planet Earth, and I wanted to procreate with you, would you do it? And she was like, no. And he looked at it and he said, well, who's going to stop me?
That's not funny. That's not
funny. No, that's heavy.
Yeah.
If you and me were the last two people
I laugh at dark humor, so
it's dark.
I can't laugh at that one.
It's wrong. It's wrong. I laugh at inappropriate stuff too. So
I mean, but you could attribute it to a movie. Look, have you guys ever seen the movie Denzel Washington? He's blind. Help me out.
Oh yeah, Book of Eli.
Book of Eli.
The Book of Eli. So here's the thing. So let me repeat it. Me and you are the last two people on the planet Earth, a man and a woman, and I want to repopulate the Earth with you. Would you do it? She was like, no. And he said, well, who's gonna stop me? Right? Now I get it. That's but if you think about the opening scene, well, at the beginning of the opening scene in the movie The Book of Eli with Denzel Washington, there was a scene where he walked up under a highway and some guys wanted to take his gun and they said he could. That's impressive. He smelled us 50 feet away. And he was like, the guy touched him, he said, "What's in that pack?" And he said, "If you touch me again, you're not gonna get that hand back." Then he cut his hand off and he killed everybody, right? He killed all the men. But there was a girl. See, a lot of people don't look at the stuff that the writers write in these movies, and this is real. There was a young lady. She was shivering down at the cart, and she was saying, "Oh, I was just with him." And he walked over to her, cool and calm, and he said, "Is that water?" And he smelled it, and he knew it was turpentine, or he just like some bad water, and he kept on going, left the girl out there. The thing is, that woman belonged to those men in the movie. She belonged to them. Watch the movie Book of Eli and you'll see what I'm talking about. Don't talk about, it's not about just money, ladies and gentlemen. And I get it. What's the chances of us having a zombie apocalypse and everybody out here fiending for themselves? Maybe that'll never happen. It's okay. But what's the chances of you going on vacation and somebody violating you in Rio de Janeiro and your husband or your man is right across the street? You're going to look to him for help because you might get robbed in Rio. You might get robbed in fucking in Colombia when you go on vacation. You might not want to go by yourself, relying on the police, quote unquote. So don't be so far off from a calamity that you think men are nothing else but a fucking ATM. We're a whole lot more than that. In fact, that's one of the minor things that we do, but everything else is so inconsequential and we do it so naturally that you don't even count it. That's my final thoughts on that. Chris, it's on you,
Whoa,
bro.
you just that last little touch on that. There's so many men who always say, all the little things that I do, it's like it don't count. Y'all don't even count that. It's not even recognized. You're not even acknowledging the little things that I do on the daily basis to provide and protect our household. There's so many men. I hear that a lot where I hear a man talk about, my wife doesn't even appreciate the fact that I do this, this, and this every single day. But it's the one thing that I did halfway off from what it was that she wanted that we having this big argument about. We need to be appreciating one another a whole lot more.
Hey, Shan, that's good stuff. That's good stuff, Rob. Shan, and that because that last point you said hit me too, man. I was wondering if after the show we could all get together, and if me and Rob could join the Empire, and we could all hold hands and sing "Kumbaya."
Mm-mm. We don't sing in the Death Star.
That's part of the problem, man. You gotta work on that, man. You might want to put a petition
Mm-mm.
out there for that.
No, we got worlds to conquer over here. We got time to be singing.
Thing keep blowing up though, right?
Hey, Shahid, that singing is beta.
Yeah, you and Rob gonna be trying to negotiate with me and Shannon. We done already took everything y'all got. We and Shan gonna come and say, you want to give it to us or do we gotta take it?
We can do this the easy way.
But that's what you finna find out about the areas. That 0 to 100 is real quick.
Real quick. Tell him, Rob.
I just want to let y'all know that I think that Wes and Rob are very scholarly and very, yeah. Anyways, very gentle.
Okay.
I'm just messing, but here's the thing. To the point of the show, do men only provide financial support? Men provide so much more than that. We provide some of the things that literally women don't think. Literally most of the things that women never think about. I'll give you an example. I was dating a young lady, and every time I went to her house, I would always check every door to make sure it was locked. If I was spending the night or if I was leaving, I checked the windows. There are just certain things that we're just keen on outside of provision, protection, problem solving, and things like that. We do so much more, and we're so much more valuable outside of just the financial piece.
Damn, Chris, you're gonna have us talking in a while. Chris, I'm leaving you on the big screen. How many women get upset if you don't walk on the outside of the sidewalk.
Yeah, and you know what's weird?
Because
You know
you're
what's weird to
supposed
me,
to get
Shan?
hit by a car.
It's
God
a
damn
lot
it.
of cats that don't even know that though.
Listen,
Shannon.
you know what's weird to me, Shan? Every time I'm with a woman and we're at any restaurant or we're in any parking lot, I always point it out. And I'm like, I wonder why he walking on the outside or why he walking closer to the car and she on the. I said, that's just weird to me.
It's
And I
for two
want to yell
reasons.
out, bruh, hey, man. But I don't know his, I don't know his moxie. He might not be.
If oncoming traffic jumps the curb, you are supposed to be the one to get hit.
I learned that at 15.
Right.
But listen to the message that's taught there. You die, not her.
Yeah.
You die.
You take the brunt of the injury.
And she has the right to get upset if you don't die for her walking down the sidewalk.
She has the right to call you less of a man if you don't.
Less of a man because you won't die and take a Buick head on.
The old
Speaking
school
that-
Buick.
Speaking as a just speaking
The
as
old
a,
school brick Buick that they made out of metal.
speaking as a man that recently got hit by a car, it's not a nice feeling. So
Listen,
My bad, dude. Y'all
Yeah.
bad. We didn't mean to get in your sensitivity.
Yeah,
there,
but-
man.
let me
triggering
just
D.
let me just give my last part in the shot.
he won't smoke his meat, y'all.
No, this is real talk, man. I think because I'm a 60s baby, I got brought up around some cats that really, really ingrained family, came from a 2-parent home. But the most damaging aspect of this whole dynamic, the dichotomy between what a man should bring to a table, is when the dating pool or the dating game became monetized. Everything started to have a value to it, a monetary value to it. And then we got reduced to, well, you didn't do this, you should have did that. And at the end of the day, we are much more than that. But because all you can see is what you can do for me, most women, not all, what you can do for me, you
What
already
have you
done
done
tallied
for
up
me?
what I should bring to the table.
Janet Jackson
And
sang
that's-
it.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. The dating game has been jacked up since they start saying we're going to send you on a date, we're going to pay for it, and it's out of control.
What have you done for me lately? Dun, 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 dun.
And you know what's even worse than actually.
Ooh, yeah.
I thought y'all don't sing over there. What's going on?
What have you done for me? Well, we confiscated this music when we took over your last planet, Naboo. What have
So-
you done for me lately?
Here's the thing that I realized, and I don't know if you guys will agree to this, and I don't know because I'm only 42, right? So I don't know what it was like for women, for my mom or my grandmother, women that grew up in the 60s, right? I only know by what I hear, where women couldn't get credit cards, they couldn't get bank accounts, they couldn't get a checking account. I only hear those things, right? And I don't know if the right word is assimilate, but I'm going to parallel two things, right? And they're not equal, but it's similar. At one point, a young man, probably 40 or 50 years ago, was being told by his parents, boys don't cry. Shut up, you're not hurt. Get up and dust yourself off if you fell down. And then that young man became a teenager and a young adult male, and he had to enter into relationships with a young lady. And eventually, what ended up happening was that young lady wanted him to express himself, and because he never learned as a child how to express himself, he had problems with communication. I'm gonna put a pin there. In the same token, there were women who never had college degrees, never could get a bank account, never could, do anything on their own. And then they started getting jobs, right? High paying positions, right? They started getting equal pay or close to equal pay. They started to earn more. They started to have degrees and get bank accounts. And so now they're doing something that they've never done before, just like the little boy who's never spoken before. and it's very loud, and it's not it's not tailored. It's not customized. You haven't learned how to do it yet. And so what's happening is, because you're earning more, you're making more, you have more, and it's not been something you've done before, it's becoming very loud, just like the little boy. So what I'm going to leave as a final thought for me, I think that we all need to get back to, or maybe not even get back to, we need to learn the value of each other, right? Learn our own value, take own personal accountability about the choices that we make and the decisions that we make. And once we make better decisions, and once we can start to make better choices, then we won't be in this position where we believe that men are only valued at just their dollar. Men are only valued for just the decisions that they make. We're so much more talented than that. And I think that's where you can begin to realize that we bring more to the table than just those particular things. With that said, fellas, DB, send us home.
DB from Baltimore, Maryland. You know how we do it. We appreciate you sharing this opportunity with us to talk about this topic. No way, shape, or form were we attacking women. The topic is what it was, and sometimes it's still what it is. But we thank you for listening in, and I'm tossing it to my man, Wes from the West Coast.
Wes from the West. Is he frozen?
Nope. You on mute, Wes.
He may be on the phone.
Tony Macaroni, Mr. Pretty Tony, answer the phone.
Go ahead and hit it, Jerron.
We took his audio.
Jerron, licensed clinical therapist here in Mississippi. As always, great show, guys. Always good to be here. As I always say each and every single week, do something special for yourself this weekend. I'm going to pass it to you, Shaheed.
Man, another good one. I think we didn't lost count. What episode was this?
37.
37.
Right. But yeah, good show, fellas. Not much. Close out favorite black cowboy. See y'all next week. Who is it on? Rob? It's on you.
Rob will be right back. Wes, you back?
Nah,
Wes Stewart, artistic IQ on all social media platforms. Shannon Ross.
Mr. Pretty Tony.
All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody pulling up. Thank you so much. Bethany, I caught you in the back chat, in the back channel, in the green room. But we're wrapping out. It'll be we're already 16 minutes over. We're supposed to be do a hard out at 9:00. So we'll catch you. I want you to pull up next week though, because next week's topic is even better than this one. And I know you're gonna have something to say to that. Being a stay-at-home wife and mother. I know you're gonna have something to say to that. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys tapping in. Chris, you can take us out.
Yeah, I thank you so much for joining us tonight. I only ask that you do one thing. Make sure you share this with all your friends on your social media platforms. I want to see Ask a Black Man anything plastered all over social media. Do that for us. Make sure you also like the show. That gives us some social currency on the YouTube streets. As you all have been able to bless us with your presence, we're going to continue to bring you great content. My name is Chris Davis. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Buffalo, New York. Love you all. Have a great night. Wes, did you ever bring get your mic fixed?
Probably not.
Yeah. And I agree with A Senior, man. He said the little boy was taught to be resilient and grew into a man. I 1,000% agree with that. I think that women will come of age and then they'll start to tone down their loud talk about I make all this money. I think it'll come around.
Man, I think about Enter the Dragon, man, when that scene where Bruce Lee was teaching homeboy the ins and outs of paying attention, and he told him, you lack emotional content. So much so that you keep keep doing that, you're gonna miss out on all this heavenly glory. Sometimes, you know, some men have been trained to not pay attention, and that's where we get lost in translation.
Yeah, man. And just to show you, I was paying attention. How we paying attention? I was talking to a young lady in a dating situation, and she said, she asked me a question about me doing content on Instagram, and she said, "Well, do you have a course, on Instagram?" And I was like, "No." And later on, I circled back around and I said, "Is this something that you do, an area of expertise?" And I mean, I'm literally listening to what she's not saying, right? And no, typically people are not going to ask you about a course unless this is an area of expertise for them. So I asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, this is something that I do." I'm like, she was like, "Why'd you ask that?" Because I pay attention, right? I just pick up on stuff. So I totally agree with you, man. Art of picking up on stuff is never a lost art. Never a lost art.
Have you guys also been taught that when you go to a restaurant with a woman, make sure you face the door?
Man, yes. I can't sit with my back to the door.
Man,
Yeah.
I do that shit out of trauma. That's a trauma response.
That's a military tactical maneuver too. Never have your back.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's really crazy? I never was in the military, but I never wanted to sit with my back toward the door. Ever since I've been going on dates, even in college, never had my back to the door. I'm always facing the door. I don't even know where I got it from. Because I wasn't raised with my dad. So
one of the craziest things. And speaking of that, Chris, one of the craziest things I always do when I come into an establishment, I look at the exits, the ways that I could get out of it.
Yeah.
Because if something pop off, I gotta spring into action. I ain't hiding under nobody's table unless I have to.
I think one of the things that pisses me off every time I see it is when I see a woman pumping gas and a dude sitting in the passenger seat. I always burn me up.
Well, you know the origin of that, though, right?
What is that?
So the origin of men pumping gas for women started because originally when cars became cars and people started driving and shit like that, it was about the driver. It was courteous that the driver of the car pumped the gas. So if you're driving, then you pump the gas. The thing about it is,
Man was already driving.
early days of automobiles, men drove,
No
women
power
didn't.
steering.
They were no power steering, no power
You had
brakes.
to jack it, turn the
You
engine,
needed
start
strength.
it, all that.
you needed strength to drive a fucking car, right? So men drove cars originally. Women didn't drive. Women just sat and were passengers, and so it was courteous for the driver to actually pump the gas. Now here's the thing: as women started driving cars more, how come men were still pumping the gas? The reason why is because people were getting robbed at gas stations. So it's almost it's like a story. It's like that story of cheerleading. Like men used to cheerlead and women took over. But I'll give that story to you guys another time. So men would drive. They pumped the gas. It was courteous. Then when cars got smarter and easier to drive, and women started driving cars, and the men and the women were driving together, and say the woman was driving and the man was the passenger, men started pumping gas because it was courteous. I mean, I'm sorry, because people would rob people at the gas stations, and so if you're gonna put yourself in danger, it's all about danger. Everything is all about danger. The fucking restaurant, the goddamn sidewalk, the fucking pumping gas. You get out, and especially if you're late at night pumping gas, you got to get out of the car into an unsafe environment where somebody could be lurking in the dark and come rob and steal and put a gun or a knife to you or take your purse. Let the man take that burden, keep the woman nice and safe inside the vehicle. What is that worth, Shahid? Who knows?